Here we go. So we are on a day 28 of A Course of Love. And anybody wants to name a page? If you have a book, would be good to put out a page.
Um, my book 622, 623.
My book is 611.
Okay.
So,
We
yeah.
have the old book.
Anyway, day 28 is easy enough to find.
Yes. Day 28 towards the end of the book. Let's put it that way. All right, Kevin, you guide us, my friend.
Okay, Sam, you're first on the list today.
Oh, okay. Day day 28, from externally to internally directed life experience. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you really well.
At one time, there seemed to be little or no choice between staying engaged in an external directed life and removing oneself from life. This may have seemed to be an either or proposition, and thus one of limitation. Moving from an externally directed to an internally directed experience of life creates unlimited choices.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
will read that. Moving from an externally directed to an internally directed experience of life creates unlimited choices.
no.
The unlimited choices of internally directed experience are what you must begin to face as we begin our descent from the mountain top. To wait until level ground is reached to begin to view the choices available would be to put off coming to know the difference between externally and internally directed life experiences.
Mm.
Most of you have experienced several stages of awareness, and we will speak here of those experienced during the years of what is called adulthood, coming of age, or the age of reason. These have been discussed before, so this will be kept brief and illustrate only what is needed for our discussion of the next stage. The
Mm.
first stage of awareness is a stage of simple external movement through life. Many people, especially young adults, have little experience other than this. Their lives are directed almost totally by external forces, from parents to mandatory schooling to somewhat voluntary schooling.
Mhm.
Uh, should I stop there? Continue?
Yeah, we'll get someone else to rock and roll.
Okay, I'm next. As the time of schooling is left behind, the next stage of movement begins, that of external movement toward independence. With this movement, the number of choices increase and the level of awareness increases with the increase in circles available.
Choices.
Yeah,
What did I say?
circles.
Mm.
Oh,
It's an interesting replacement.
because there was one on the line before. I said choices there, didn't I? Yeah.
Yes.
As young people do not usually move away from the home of their parents until they are at least college age, the opportunity to move away move out, become more independent, increases the awareness of self as self. As the self matures beyond school age, the choices become those of degrees of independence, moving away, moving into one's own sphere of friends, colleagues, relationships. For some of these choices include commitments to partnerships of a personal or professional nature. For some, these choices include marriage and starting a family. Some follow a more standard pattern than others, with schooling, career, marriage, and family seen as almost inescapable as well as desirable norm. Others pursue dreams or adventures. All of these choices are externally directed. They may include a great deal of inner reflection in order to be made, but they are still directed at external outcome. By living the experiences of these externally directed life situations, growth occurs, changes happen, new avenues to explore at times open up, leading to the next level of experience, that of external movement toward a chosen type of life. Cole.
At this level, some people reach a crossroad that feels like a choice that will move their lives in such a different direction, yes, that it is both exciting and at times excruciatingly difficult. Others reach a plateau of sorts and just keep following the opportunities that are pressed along one's path. They may have chosen one career, for instance, and made choices within that career path, but never really consider a different career path. Many simply reach a state of reasonable comfort and will work no choice that will affect that comfort level.
Mm.
All of these stages may be associated or are accompanied by religious or spiritual experiences that seem to help guide the choices, but the choices remain the same. Externally directed choices. Now, something new awaits you. It is a choice so different, and I mean so revolutionary that will take some getting, yes, that it will take some getting used to. This change is predicated on all the changes that have come before it, including, but particularly, on that which most recently spoken of, that of apprehending a new reality of wholeness. Apprehending the new reality of wholeness. It is not, sorry, yeah, it is not wholeness that is new, but the reality of wholeness that is new. the reality of being able to experience the variability of separation from within the state of wholeness. That is what is new. But state of wholeness is what is new. Okay.
Alison?
This must be kept foremost in your mind. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The reversal spoken of recently, the reversal from believing in a giver and a receiver to knowing that giver and receiver are one, is also of paramount importance. You and your life are one. Your life is not the giver and you, the receiver. You and God are one. God is not the giver and you, the receiver. This is wholeness. Depending on the circumstances of your life, one of these two attitudes will have a reverse side that will have a greater hold on you.
Mm.
Your life may have shown you that you are not in control in many ways and at many times. Therefore, you think that you must take what life has to give. This is most likely the attitude of those whose major life dilemmas have been of a monetary or career nature, where success or failure in life is seen
Mm-hmm.
as the most crucial element of a happy life. If the attitude you will have greater need of reversing is that of God determining the circumstances of your life, you have probably been more affected by the relationships of life, by loss or death of loved ones, by accidents or illness or natural disasters, by the unexplainable forces that have affected you with sadness more so than with ideas of success or failure. Therefore, you think that you must take what God has to give.
Mm.
Most people feel at least some combination of these two attitudes, but will find that one is prevalent. You must now get past all such notions or attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I'm just aware that there's so much underlying my general thinking that I don't even know is there, and this is what's being undone.
Mm-hmm.
My one is the second. I don't know about other people, but the dominant one for me is the second one. God determining, I wouldn't have seen it like that, God determining the circumstances of my life, but I've had a lot of loss and death in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. But that will reverse with that giving rather than waiting for what's given. We're gonna begin to give what it is that's desired. Like you give
Yeah,
love,
I mean,
you feel love.
I'm aware there's these things just underlying that I'm not even aware of that have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just making ourselves available for that undoing again.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Kim, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Acceptance has been a main theme of this dialogue
Mm-hmm.
and was revisited and defined as acceptance of internal rather than external conditions.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense, however, to accept what is not the truth.
Yes.
Most of what is not the truth has been identified as old thought patterns. This is all that the notion of a giver and a receiver is, an old thought pattern.
Wow.
Ah,
Mm.
Mm.
It sounds simple put like that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Thought patterns exist within thought systems that have been externalized and are part of the world on level ground. These external systems are based, as are all that you have made, on the externalization of what is within.
Mm.
At the same time, however, what is within has been based upon what was previously externalized. This is what now must change, and as can be seen, this change is essential to changing the world. Hmm. Shall I read one more?
Yes, please.
mm,
This change, this transformation, can only take place within time, because only within time is the experience of separation possible.
Wow.
And experience is where the power of transformation lies. This transformation will, however, take you beyond time, because once experience is moved out of the realm of separation and into the realm of union or wholeness, new conditions will apply. This is why it has been said that the changes that are to come are not about time-bound evolution. Only this first change, this first transformation must take place in time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we start again. Back to you, Sam.
This is the change, the transformation we've been working on by changing our experience of time to one of experiencing two levels of time. Our time on the mountain would be more rightly described as time outside of time. Time outside of time by itself will not cause the shift that needs to occur, however. What will create the shift is the ability to experience time outside of time and time simultaneously. Thus is the wholeness of time or eternity experienced and made real.
Mm.
Eternity might thus be seen as the unchanging constant that has not been affected by the variable of time. Said in another way, eternity and time are part of the same continuum as are properties such as hot and cold. They are part of the same whole that is constant of all that is all that is one. So too are giving and receiving, and giver and receiver. To move to internally directed experience is to make the move more into wholeness that will cause the shift of the edges, the experience of variability within wholeness. Key to this is the simple realization that it is possible. This is what our time on the mountain has provided you with. The experience required in order to realize any possibility.
Mm. Yes. Mhm.
As you move toward wholeness, all the pieces of all that we have talked about will begin to fit together. A whole will form within your mind, much as if you have been following a thread and now can see the tapestry. This tapestry will bear the mark of your experiences and will be like no other.
Mm.
The thread represents your own journey to truth, your own journey to wholeness. Separation is desired no longer, but experience is.
Mhm.
Your will and God's are one, and thus it is being made so. Presently, it is as if you follow two threads. The thread that has led you to the mountain and the thread of the life from which you have not moved yourself. Now you must begin to weave these two threads together into the tapestry of your new life. This weaving will take place as you continue to intertwine the two experiences that you are simultaneously holding within your conscious awareness. This is what we will continue to speak of as we conclude this dialogue.
Anything wants to be shared?
Yeah, I'm
I
feeling
suppose
quite
what
flat today, so I hope I'm not bringing everyone else in the group down. It's, it's got a really
no,
flat feeling today.
Yeah. I like how you smile when you say that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What it talked about earlier about the sort of loop of our thinking being directed by external events. It just has me thinking about how I've been looking at my health and how what affects the health. And like we think, oh, if we get in a cold breeze, we're going to get a cold, or
Mhm.
if we take the right supplements, it's going to help us. It's just like he's asking us to get outside of that loop and to to look inside instead.
Mhm. Mm.
And it's a funny thing that recently I've stopped taking most of the supplements I was taking, and it hasn't affected me adversely at all.
Yeah. Same.
And yet I thought they were helping.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I have to really question. I've had to really question, oh, well, what is it then? There's something else that's going on that I have no idea how it works, but I'll be shown, I
Mm.
suppose.
Hmm.
The world is not cause. The world is not causation. That's the message, really.
That's it. Beautiful. And I'd just like to come back to Kevin if you're done, Alison.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin, so let's play with this flat. Yeah, you feel flat, right?
Yeah,
And so when you feel flat, yeah,
yeah.
can you find a part of you that kind of wants it to be different?
Well, look, interesting enough, Cole, this morning I was thinking about calling someone because I is normally not, is not always feeling the best. And I sat down on the couch for a moment and I realized how good I was feeling. I thought, it's almost like as if I want to feel bad, then my brain kicks in and says, no, 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 no. You're not you're not going to do that either. It's like I'm opposing myself, no
Yeah.
matter no matter which way I go. So I just noticed when we're reading in the room here now, it feels really flat to me, and I'm thinking, well, I came in probably feeling a bit that way anyway, and I'm just wondering if it's anyone else knows that feels a bit flat today. It was just me, or
It's just you, Kevin. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm speaking for myself. Because I was actually going like, gosh, I feel so high. I should make sure I enter very gently. Anyway,
I'm from, yeah.
just want to say, see, sometimes we have this flatness and then is this kind of like a pressure to be different.
mm,
What actually I found that if I just allow myself to fully experience being flat,
yeah,
like how he talks about, acceptance is the key. Because if you can fully accept the flatness you seemingly experience, yeah?
yeah. Well, that's what happened this morning, Cole, because
Yeah.
I sat down,
Mm-hmm.
feeling my flatness, going to call someone and tell them how I was feeling like
Yes.
it, and it's gone.
Okay.
I
That's it.
thought,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Like any experience, as far as we don't separate from it, because the separation is what locks it.
yeah.
But we don't
Oh,
separate from it and allows us to be what the hell it is we are. You become that you actually constantly, wholesomely experiencing and expressing something
Mm.
without it being attacked. When you can live in this full acceptance of whatever's arising, then the life begins to flow within you because you no
Mm.
longer holding back. You're no longer judging something. Yeah. And you're no longer blaming the outside world for it. You're now in you going, aha, I'm having this is arising.
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
gonna let it pass through because the minute you separate yourself from it, you actually imprison it within yourself.
Because
Yeah.
the flatness is on the same continuum as the highness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, and the minute you don't want one, basically cancelled out the other as well.
And that's the duality kind of thing.
And you're the either or thing that's going on. Yeah. It's either or. Like, I think that's driven me crazy my whole life without realizing.
Yep.
You know, like, oh,
Mm.
there's always got to choose this or that, this or that, this or that. It's like, oh, no, like it's both. Yeah, it's always both. You're just somewhere on that continuum. But yeah, it is actually all one. It's like the same. I look at it as a stick. You know, there's one end of the stick or the other, but it's the same stick. No matter where you are, how you are, it's no different. But we've convinced ourselves it shouldn't be what it, you know, whatever it is, it shouldn't be. It should be the other end of the stick, but it's the same freaking stick. You know, like it's the same wholeness, no matter where you are on it,
Yeah.
no matter what's going on.
And then you realize that that's what the world is, or God is giving, or world is giving, is actually
Yeah.
you begin to give.
Yes.
So if you give your flatness, like you said, it was so cute because you
Yeah.
said, I feel a bit flat. And
Yeah.
you were actually smiling. I was like, there is nothing flat about you, Kevin, right? It's like,
I think actually I want to feel flat. I do actually. I don't mind the feeling, and I'm quite happy to feel flat. But I feel it's the coming into the group feeling like I don't want to bring everyone down or anything. But I'm happy to feel
Yeah.
flat myself.
nice,
It's like,
Yeah.
it's
nice.
But
weird. In this
yeah,
group, it just feels like I feel like I'm like a bit of a wet blanket or something. So I want to just let you know that if anyone's feeling like that, you can blame me and you can feel better.
No, no, no.
but in accepting it
Yeah.
and having it be okay, it's the same as the high. It's no different.
Yeah, because if we join in flatness, like when you
Yeah.
allow yourself to be flat, say yes, and then there's no opposition. You know, there's no opposition. You're
Yeah.
expressing, you're giving it. You're no longer holding it. Forgiving it is like you give it forward. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I get
I wonder what happens if you extend that flatness outwards.
well, that's it.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, when you said that, I'll go like, ooh, I'm interested. Like you drew me in. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, let's,
Mm.
let's and this has been happening a lot. People say with all sorts of karma drama that's upon them, and they say, oh, I'm feeling so heartbroken. I'm going like, wow, that's so beautiful. Wow, you're heartbroken. And then we begin to allow it, and next minute it's such an incredible unifying experience. Funny enough,
Mm.
from the ego perspective, that looks like hell. But from the unity experience, it's basically giving of what's giving it away, basically. Not getting rid of, just giving it away. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the
Feels like
next one is
judgment.
quite short. Sorry, Patricia.
It feels like judgment. We're constantly in the world. It's good or it's bad. It's right or it's wrong.
Exactly.
Uh, we're in the middle of this right now, where you got to decide which team you're going to join, and you got to take the whole thing is good or the whole thing is bad. There's no flatness at all. It's
Mhm.
it's unrealistic, but
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
I think I said before about
So, yeah,
how I like.
it's a little bit of a pun on words, but if you're feeling flat, are you feeling on level ground? I mean, I don't know. It's just we've been talking a lot about level ground and on the mountain.
Yeah. Peaceful and non-judgmental and
Mhm.
accepting.
Well,
Flat but still on the mountain. Yeah.
I think I've said before that I quite like the feeling of sorrow, like deep sorrow, and this, even with this flatness, it makes me I feel like I'm more in touch with something, like I'm more
Mm.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes,
deeper, bit more within, more within. I quite like that feeling, even though I'm initially thinking, oh, I don't like feeling flat, but it does put me in touch with something that I don't always feel in touch with, and which I like. So,
beautiful,
mm.
beautiful. That's what he was talking about. Eventually, he talks about divine, human and divine, mountaintop and not mountaintop. Like we bring that experience wherever we go. God goes with me wherever I go, right?
Mm.
That
Mm.
true? Yes, because His
Yeah.
will and your will are one. So it's just really,
Yeah.
if
Wholeness
your
is
will and
there
God,
all the time, whether
Yeah.
yeah, if God's will and your will are one, where is your will? Where is that will that is one with God? And once that begins to be felt, because you can't just think about it, when it begins to be felt within that will, there is God's will, which is like a God's inheritance, which we already been given our inheritance. Like imagine you had parents who are still alive, but they say, "Hey, we'll give you the whole inheritance now." So it's the same thing. We already have it, but if we just grip on it and not giving it, then we feel like we don't have it. But the minute we
Mm.
begin to give it, it begins to reveal itself what it is in the act of giving away. Make sense? No response.
I'm having trouble with concepts today.
Yeah,
A little bit.
that's a good place. Shall we read the day 29? You guys happy to? It's very short. Shall we squeeze that one in?
Sure.
Mm.
You next,
I'm
Colin.
next.
Yeah.
Thank you. Day 29. The common denominator of experience. This is where we begin to really lose sight of concepts of duality. Where we cease to be where they cease to be real for us. Wholeness and separation, God and man, life and individuated self. What you do, who you are, the eternal and the temporal, joy and sadness, sickness and health, all cease to have the limited power that all such concepts have formerly held. That's pretty big. When they cease to be held as separate concepts in your mind, they cease to be separate. Wow. I'll read that again.
Mhm.
When they cease to be held as separate concepts in your mind, they cease to be separate. Remember that you have already realized the ability to participate in two levels of experience simultaneously, and that duality is really just a matter of different level of experience. We'll wait for Alison to pop on. I read that sentence again. Remember that you have already realized the ability to participate in two levels experience simultaneously, and that duality is really just a matter of different levels of experience. If you can be having the experience of the mountaintop and the experiences of level ground simultaneously, then you can also have the experience of all other opposites in this time.
Same.
Sorry, in the same simultaneous way. If you can integrate all that opposes wholeness into one level of experience, you will be able to experience life from within the reality of wholeness rather than from within the reality of separation.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
Yourself will no longer be divided into a spirit self and a human self, living under different conditions, at times complementing and at times opposing one another. Just as mind and heart become one in wholeheartedness, ta-da, and ended the conflict induced by their seeming separation, the spirit and the human self must now do so also.
Mm. Mm.
Is it Alison?
Yep.
Yeah. Mind and heart. Can you hear me all right?
Can hear you
Yeah.
well. Sometimes your picture vanishes, but
Yeah.
we get you, darling.
Yeah.
You very well.
I've got bad internet. So anyway, mind and heart joined as you let go of judgment and relearned or remembered wholehearted desire, the source of your power,
Wow.
available to assist you in accomplishing the final joining, the joining that will end duality and return you to wholeness, to who you truly are, in the reality in which you truly exist. This is no more complicated than ending the rift between mind and heart.
Mm.
I've missed all of that. I can't get my. Can I? Is it okay with everyone if I read it again? That
Mm-hmm.
first paragraph. Mind and heart joined as you let go of judgment and relearned or remembered wholehearted desire. The source of your power. Now, this power is available to assist you in accomplishing the final joining, the joining that will end duality and return you to wholeness, to who you truly are in the reality in which you exist.
You truly exist. Mm.
in which you truly exist. This is no more complicated than ending the rift between mind and heart. You have accomplished that, and you can accomplish this in your reality.
Mm.
As you realize by now, all this talk of accomplishment is merely about bringing forward what already exists into the reality in which you exist.
Mm.
Another way of saying this is bringing who you are into wholeness, which can be interpreted both as bringing all that you are into existence and as bringing all that you are into existence in union. Kim.
Mm. Your access to union, so newly discovered and yet always existing within you, has been a part of the process that has allowed you access to two levels of experience. It is your access to two levels of experience. The experience of wholeness and the experience of separation. While you may have seen it as access to information or sensory experiences of another kind, it is, in actuality, access to a state of being. Your familiarity with your spacious self has also been part of the process and part of the experience of merging wholeness and separation. While you may have seen it as a new means of interaction, it has been, in actuality, access to a new state of being. A new state of being is a new reality. It is linked with your notion of who and where you are, for who you are and where you find yourself and experience yourself are your reality. Yes. This is why experience has needed to find a place in which it could become the common denominator between wholeness and separation. Once you experience yourself in wholeness and find yourself in union, you have made of yourself the common denominator upon which experience can find anchor in wholeness and union. Oh. You are thus, as always, the creator of your reality.
Ooh, ooh. I like how you accented that. You.
Well, it's in italics in the book.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing, you see.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's us and God. It's not, yeah, it's not separate. Ah.
Does the idea of a common denominator ring a bell
Yeah.
when you're in grade school and find the common denominator, right? Does it make sense here?
Mm.
Mm, like when fractions different, and then you have to find a common denominator in order to add these things into one.
Mhm.
I think that's what he's talking about. Because am I on the right track, Cole?
That again?
Am I on the right track here when I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yes, absolutely. So, well, that's how we unify, no? Suddenly we find something in common. Is that what you're aiming at?
Yeah, I think living in separation, like level ground and
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
mountaintop, you see things different, and in life we're seeing things different
Mhm.
and acting different when you're challenged by situations. Um, but when you start looking at things from the mountaintop point of view, you
Mhm.
can accommodate what's on the level ground.
Mhm.
And then therefore with that you can mix it, you know, together like a common denominator. And nothing becomes outside of something, then it becomes wholeness.
Mm.
That so that's how I see it. The
As far as
because
it puts a smile on your face, I understand you.
you know what? I
As
didn't
far as
hear.
truth, I said, as far as it puts a smile on your face, which it does, I trust you. And because truth will always smile you. You can't be like no, in truth and not be happy in a way, because you feel so wholesome. So yes.
It's
I kind of had that experience, although it was enough to make me aware I can't hang on to it all the time. But it's about a year and a half ago, my husband was in the hospital, and I went up early in the morning to see him, and he was going to have this test. So they told me to go wait in the lobby. So I go downstairs and I have my phone. I thought, well, there's lots of nice places to sit here, and I thought they have these nice tables where I could sit. There's a little coffee bar there, and I got some coffee and could do the meditation on my phone. And at the end of the meditation, it says, open your eyes and how do you feel? And I opened my eyes and I thought, what a pleasant place this is. Why, this lobby is so accommodating. It's so bright. There's lots of windows and there's these tables and there's chairs over there. There's this little secluded spot with couches where you could sit intimately with people. And uh, it just was like, wow. And it felt so welcoming. And there's this lovely lady at the desk who's welcoming everybody that comes in, has this wonderful word of, how can I help you? And I thought, this is just beautiful. And then it dawned on me, oh my, this is the hospital I retired from 25 years ago.
Mhm.
This was not the atmosphere then. This was not the atmosphere. It has been remodeled, but the spirit of it was open and accommodating. And I thought, and the interesting thing of being the doer that I was always fighting against the closeness of the hospital and how we had our space and you had your space and how we would tell you where to go and when you could go there. And the message was, you're in our way, let us do our job, please. We have to deal with visitors and family, but we'd rather not. And it's just a contrast of, I thought, but this is what I always wanted it to be. So it's like, okay, did it suddenly, is it changed? Or did I just see it differently? I just,
Possibly both.
Yeah.
you're in a different state of being, I guess, you know.
I was like, oh, this is what I always wanted. This is how I always thought it was supposed to be. Nobody would listen to me.
Yeah. But it's like you at one yourself. You go into meditation, you somehow connect to everything that you are, and then you open your eyes, and you cannot see in any other way except everything is wholeness.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I have spiritual experience in places where one could easily vomit. you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this even possible to have such a profound experience, looking at such disgust? You know. And it was such an eye opener, going like, wow, it's all about how I view everything.
Yeah.
And the minute I judge something, I deprive myself of seeing what's really there.
Mm. Makes us blind, doesn't it?
Because we're constantly magnetizing, and like, in Course of Miracles says often, like, you always get what you're searching for, and receive as you have asked. And then you reject it. It's like, I don't want this. I was like, hello, you've just desired this. Here it is. God only gives, so it's all provided. And you go, nah, that's rejecting God, basically.
Yeah.
Actually, it reminds me of Course of Miracles, where it says, using Christ's vision. See, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
Mountain to Christ's vision of
Yes.
situation instead of,
Yeah.
and then it brings wholeness to everything. Wow.
Yes. The vision is when, like you can't have vision on if almost like you close your eyes and then your vision kicks in a way. But then you open your eyes and you see everything with this vision, which is seeing with the heart being so included, and also the will, because you can't sustain the heart presence without the will, because the will is that which holds things in manifestation. So having a mind and a heart experience, it's beautiful. But when you have a mind and a will joining in the heart, in this what they call the wholeheartedness, yeah, encompasses everything. Then it becomes sustained experience. It's like I don't have to do
So
anything. It just kicks in.
I keep on,
Yeah,
carry on.
yeah.
I
It's just
thought
like
you were finished for a moment.
yeah, it kicks in. It just kicks in, and then yeah, one feels whole, just like Kevin feels flat, wholeheartedly, wholehearted,
I think this,
wholehearted flatness.
I think there's a like
How do you feel?
a huge importance in finding the constant. He talked about finding the constant in the variable, and the variables within the constant.
Mm,
And I
Yeah.
think that's really relevant to that last thing that we've just read here, because the constant is union, it is the true self, that finding that,
mm,
even with, if, where we find ourselves in all the variables within that, but we're asked to find the constant within the variables.
mhm. Yes.
And so he's talking, that's what the common denominator would have to be the constant.
But without the variables, it wouldn't be a
Anyway,
constant.
yeah, just
Yeah. The way you talked about Kevin's flatness then, Cole, I suddenly wanted to have that flatness. Like
That's it.
it
But
was
that's
really
it.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
That's so incredible because that's what I was saying. Like people
Yeah.
talk to me about they breakups and they go like, "Oh my God, I'm so heartbroken." I'm going like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful."
I just thought I never experienced that before until this moment. It's just the way you said it, and Kevin's smiling, And it's
Can
like,
you,
oh yeah, bring me the flatness, like it was
Yes.
great.
See, that's just that thing where your opposites are, they just unite.
Yeah, yes, yes.
is that what flatness is? Can you explain flatness again? Just for the record. You just did, I know, but I just
Well,
wanted to.
flatness would have to be a variable of the mountaintop, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kim is having a wholehearted experience of flatness. That's what that looks like.
You can't explain any of it. Like you can't
Some of it.
explain flatness. You can't explain anything,
Yes.
actually. Like,
And yet you ooze it, right? And something that you go like, wow, this is the most undesirable moment, right?
ah,
And
yeah.
now you can do this with everything. Like we, no
Yes, yes,
matter
yes,
what
yes.
you say, like I have a pages and pages of like negative emotions, and you just simply do it with each of those. You just simply allow yourself to have all of these different states in wholeness. They no longer
Yeah,
in opposition.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like can you allow yourself to feel dead? It was like a wholesome experience of feeling dead. It was profound. I was like, wow, there is only eternity because I'm experiencing deadness. And it was like I was vibrating like I was having some kind of, almost a sexual experience of some kind.
Yeah.
Because it reverberates this whole chemistry within the body all the way down to the feet. Like that is the elevated self of form of what you just experienced, Kim.
Right.
It's an elevation, or even the form begins to be whole because it's all accepted.
Yeah, the flatness wasn't any different to the mountaintop. It's no different. Like,
In the Course in Miracles, they often talk about like, the body is not real, right? And
yeah,
then when you read it, you go like, yeah, and you can stick on that experience. But later on, it says, and then your brother reaches out to another brother for unity. And now the body is holy. Aha. And you see? So it's not saying body does not exist really at all. But when it's used correctly, it
yeah,
becomes it becomes
yeah,
a holy, it's a holy thing.
yeah. That's the trick with the Course in Miracles. You can so easily misinterpret what it's on about.
Well, because
And
Jesus says one thing. Jesus says constantly, follow my guidance. He didn't say, follow guidance of so and so who read
yeah,
Course in Miracles. He says, follow my guidance. Here I say, do this, do that. Don't interpret it and don't let anyone else to explain it to you because he's clearly saying to you in every sentence exactly what to do. And if you
Mm.
start listening to some morons who think they know what they're talking about, you just kill the Course of Miracles. It becomes this awful, you know?
yeah,
Yeah. If you
yes,
just follow exactly what he says and you allow each sentence to to take you to what he's saying, that's all it is. Forget anyone. You need to get Course of Miracles and you. Teach only
mm,
love doesn't mean grab a Course of Miracles and go and, you know,
mm,
project your neurosis onto crowds. No, it's about take the book to take you into wholeness. When you feel whole, that's how you teach only love by becoming it and by oozing it. Makes sense?
yes,
Teach only
yes,
love is become it and radiate it wherever you go. And those that see will see, and those that can experience will experience, and those that don't, they don't, and it does not matter. Like you don't have to bash somebody, go like, you got to follow this teaching because this is gonna take you to God. It's like, no, it's
no,
only for you.
yes, yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Only took me 30 years to realize, but so yes, I have seen Mr. Mark. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful, guys. What an
Oh,
entertaining morning. Thanks for your flatness,
Mm,
Kevin. That was
yeah.
enlightening, enlightening let experience.
I'm going to call you Flat Man from here on, Kevin.
Yes.
Flat Man. Da, 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 da. Flat Man. Pow, boom.
It's like bad.
Ah.
Dash.
Oh, but it's like, oh, it's that means everything is can be acceptable. Like
Yes.
it's just the way it's just as soon as you actually reject something, it's you're in trouble. Like it puts you on, yeah, it separates you immediately. And yes. So
Watch this.
if I was in the mindset of, oh, Kevin, you can't be flat, that's not good. I don't want you to be flat. Like then I've separated myself off from it, and it's like
You were separated. You
separate, yeah,
separate yourself from you.
it's sort of sad, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, like I don't know why it takes so long to get these understand.
Mhm.
This
Yeah,
morning there was
and it might be gone. Like I've experienced this now, and that can't be taken away from me. But it gets forgotten somehow.
Mhm.
You know, tomorrow I'll probably forget it. You know,
Well, hence the mind training.
yeah. So you've got to. It's yeah,
It becomes constant. More and
yeah.
more the feelings are becoming acceptable because it's really,
Mm,
like he talks about, it's all about the acceptance. Sorry, Sam, I jumped in. Yeah.
Mhm.
When the more and more
yes,
feelings becoming acceptable, feeling is
yeah,
the secret, feeling is the key to unity. Because you
yes,
can't, and unity you can only feel. Imagining unity is just like imagining whatever, but feeling
yeah.
unity through the access point, like he talks about, and we all have slightly different access. So in that we are very, but once you access it, it's the same access.
Right.
The door
Yes.
opens, the door to the kingdom is open, and then comes the act of giving it. Because if you don't give it, you virtually can't handle it. You will choke on it. So once you have it, you begin to ooze it. Sam, you were saying, if that still apply?
uh, uh, yeah, it's kind of in the same direction, oozing it.
Yeah.
There was a discussion this morning about flatness. I think that's what it could be. Flatness, like because of love is flat. Um, Meaning just being honest about what has happened over the years, in love, what is love? I think from experience of, I think all of you here have been in love, and it was quite explosive, sexual explosiveness and stuff like that. That is what we understood as love, right?
Hmm.
But now it's like it's sort of it started being flat, really flat. But now, I can say it because I know that it's getting to be different.
Yes.
Like there's some things about the oozing of love,
Yes.
and the way I can explain it is this that in my younger days, I used to like to party and drink and stuff like that, and that's what I knew as having fun, right? And so one day, I think it was 40 years ago, I went to a Christian party, and all these people, they had food, they did everything, and they were enjoying food, and I said, how can you enjoy food without alcohol? That's really ridiculous. Having fun, and then in the back of my head, it said, I thought, I have to learn how to enjoy food and eat and be happy like that.
Mm.
And so So I had to learn that, and now it's fun. Like somebody invites me somewhere, and then I just say, "Oh, is there food?" And then I can go eat food and be happy, with people. But so the same thing with cost, cost of love, love in, I just like to like pretend like I'm fully I'm in love, like, cost of love is like you're in love, what does that mean? What does it, just have to learn how to be in love, how to enjoy the course of love, to enjoy love. I think most of us, you know, I am just speaking of myself. I think I was seeing flat mostly, but it emotionally I was kind of getting together,
Mm.
that I wasn't, I'm more happier
Mhm.
together, but there wasn't that explosiveness of it should be better than sex. It shouldn't be, it should be better. That's what I'm thinking. But it is. It's that flatness. That's the flatness, probably that in other words, a flatness. I know what you mean in a flatness, but that's that it's just flat.
Mm.
That's what I mean. I don't know if it makes sense.
Mm.
Did I shut everybody up?
Sometimes we just trying to, it takes a moment to receive the experience. Yeah. And also, you know what I found that we have this experience and then the mind comes in and tries to explain it. And that
Mm.
actually takes it away, like because the perception is not an attribute of God. Remember that line? Lesson 43, I think. It's like, yeah, it's not an attribute of God. So minute we start personal uh what? Um the minute we
Analyzing.
huh?
Analyzing.
Yeah, the minute we start kind of perceptualize
Mm.
our experience, we take it
Oh.
from the experience into into perception.
Mm.
And that's kind of that's a part of us that's disconnected from the heart. Yeah. The perception
Mm.
gets purified as we unify. Yeah. But
Mm.
sometimes explaining things, like I had an experience, I'm still trying to explain it 9 years later, and it always falls flat,
Mm.
explanation of it. And yet the experience in itself was, oh, like I can only make sound, I guess, you know,
Mm.
because it's
Yeah,
just like that. The unspeakable love, it's called unspeakable because you can't talk about it. The poets have tried, the writers have tried within the wholeness of a book. It's not necessarily exactly like that final sentence, but it's the wholeness, just like a course of love. You might read a chapter and just go like, what the hell is he talking about now, right? But the book as wholeness will,
yeah, it says like in
yeah,
some cases like you become more,
yeah,
you become more, and they experience like joy,
yeah,
peace, happiness. Your function is happiness,
yeah,
in the course of love.
Mm.
Those are strong words, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah. But,
very
You
strong.
know,
you, but, but
and
you can't give it by explaining it. You can only give it by giving it.
Mhm.
You know,
But
this
the
is the thing.
concepts can help understanding.
well,
Yes, but
the
They
same
can be a tool to understanding, like
that
to, yeah.
yes.
how to understand those words. You mean like joy, peace, happiness, and all that? It's it's
Those are
what the
not
gives.
concepts.
I can't say that I'm not happy. I'm very happy. But I'm saying that there is no. I haven't had that big kick or like this
Uh-huh.
explosiveness of it.
Yes.
Which I think it should be that. I
Mm.
see myself. doing that sometimes, being this extraordinarily happy.
Mhm.
But I also noticed that, for the most part, things have been a little bit flat. And I want to sort of
You have to embrace the flatness first. Like,
Yes.
it has to be okay.
To become wholeheartedly flat.
Yeah.
well, the reason I was talking because I want to learn it. You have to learn something, like I told you about food. I thought, I have to learn this idea about food. Just enjoy food without killing myself. Just enjoy food, and now I can, I can just go to the party and enjoy food and befriend, like with people, which is the idea. Relationships and food is good thing. So I have to learn the idea of being happy with food.
Mhm.
So now here I know this course of love, the whole entire book, 4,000 pages about love. And I know what love used to be for me, like with this explosiveness. And now I'm saying, I have to learn this thing about love here to be really. I don't know about you, so that's why I was talking about it because I'm with people who are doing the course of love.
Mm.
Are these joyous people, happy people? Whatever, what's going on, or is it just flat,
Yes.
just boring people?
Yeah.
Oh,
Instead of arguing whether the world is real and body is real or anything, you just simply get happy for no good reason, except that's God created you. As God created you, you are naturally happy. You don't have to add
Mm.
ingredient to it to ignite it. It's simply, sometimes I
Oh,
wake up and I'm going like, why are
excuse
you
me, I have to
running
take the
for?
call. Sorry.
That's all right.
yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for listening to my rant. But
Oh, no.
It's nice.
Yes.
I just I have the measure of joy and peace and stuff like that. That's why I can say it. Otherwise, I'll be depressed. But it's coming along really well. So I'm thankful, really.
Gratitude is a natural part of it. It's like that was my experience. For me, it was a little bit explosive. But one thing that really shocked me was like how the giving in a real love, giving is inherent. Like you don't even have to give it, it gives of itself. That was a game changer. Like wow, I truly need do nothing.
Uh-huh.
When I
And
learned how to truly step back, fully step back.
Sorry, guys. I have to leave. I think my daughter thinks she's in labor, and I have to go and
All right,
be
honey.
with the
Oh,
Oh,
grandson while
oh,
she's in the hospital. Okay,
yes.
oh, it's wonderful.
thanks,
Blessings. Well,
thanks
keep us
everyone. That
That's
was
a
a
posted.
wonderful
joyful
call.
experience.
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
Keep us posted.
Okay, thanks for your help.
Yeah,
All right.
do.
Sending
Bye.
blessings.
Bye. Thank you.
All
thank
right.
you.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you realize when I was in course of love, it's still love giving itself of
Yes.
itself. Don't work at it, with people, relationship. It's growing on itself,
Mm,
which, which is kind of fun.
yeah.
Yeah. You don't work on things as much as I used to. Love is just happening.
Natural inheritance, right? When he says natural inheritance, it's natural. It's not even like, it's like, of course.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
So this,
Beautiful.
thank you.
All right, darlings. That was lovely.
Mhm,
Lovely to see you all. It's 1.5 hours later, so maybe we'll bring it to a close.
mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, and see you
right,
all
lovely to
very
see you
soon.
all.
Thanks.
All
See you
right.
later.
Ciao.
Bye.